Hey, what is up you guys? My name is Catherine and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous foundation. So I posted a poll on my community tab if you guys would rather see me review this or the new Fenty Beauty foundation that's coming out in the middle of the month. At the time that I got this was winning, but now the Fenty Beauty foundation is winning, so I'll probably end up just reviewing both, but we'll see. Anyways, this is a foundation that retails for $38 and it comes in 50 shades, and I'm just going to read the description. Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation is a water-resistant liquid foundation that creates a luminous, natural finish. The radiant formula delivers long-wearing, medium coverage, yet still feels weightless and looks ultra-fresh. This is the coverage you have been waiting for. Luminous foundation looks so great on its own, there's no need to set with a powder. Available in 50 completely natural shades, this lightweight foundation blurs any imperfection, including discoloration and unevenness, without caking or masking the skin's natural radiance. With a seamless application, this easy to blend face makeup leaves the skin with a perfected looking complexion that is free of flashback or oxidization. Awesome. So it's basically medium coverage, luminous, but not crazy dewy, and skin perfecting. So we'll see if it holds up to those claims. What I ended up doing is an initial wear test where I literally do just the foundation, no concealer, and I do like the teensiest bit of setting powder on my under eye, and then I show you guys after wearing it for a couple of days my favorite way to wear it with another wear test. So I hope you guys are excited about this. I'm super excited about all the dewy foundations that have been coming out. I have been waiting. I feel like they have all been matte for so long. So yeah, if you're new here, I'd love to have you subscribe, and let's go ahead and hop into the video. So I only have a sponge with me right now, so this is going to be a little different from my usual foundation reviews in that I'm just doing my whole face with a sponge. So I'm going to do 2 pumps, and this is my AOA Studio Wonder Teardrop Sponge. So that definitely like evened out my redness. I don't really have any like acne to be covered up today, but it did like even everything out, but it does have like a nice dewy, definitely very, very skin-like finish to it. I really want to just see how skin-like I can get this to stay throughout the day, so I'm not doing a lot of face makeup. I'm actually not going to do any concealer. I'm just going to set my under eye, do a little bit of blush and bronzer, and that's it. So this did get a little funky with the under eye powder right here, but everything else blended over top fine. We're not doing highlighter because I want to see how dewy this gets throughout the day on its own, and the highlighter would interfere with that. So I'm just going to set this with e.l.f. setting spray. This is a really neutral setting spray. And that's it. I'm going to be doing a wear test today, so I will be checking in throughout the day so you can see how this holds up. So my light is almost completely gone, but it's now 7:30 p.m. and I put this on at 11 a.m. So I've had this on for 8.5 hours, and I'll just zoom you in a little bit. So this is with no primer. This is just with moisturizer and a little bit of e.l.f. setting spray. We do a little bit of creasing in the nose area right here, which is pretty normal for me. Little dewy looking on the forehead, T-zone, chin area, which it's a luminous foundation, and I don't find that it looks particularly, like, it looks a little oily, but it doesn't look ridiculously oily. It just looks luminous. I actually find that my cheeks look slightly powdery and dry, like in this area, but keep in mind we didn't have any highlighter on today, and that's how glowy my cheeks are looking. Comfort wise, I find that this wore very well. I'm not one that likes to wear foundation for 8 hours at a time, but I'm not sitting here like, oh my god, get this off my face right now. I actually think it's quite comfortable. Feels very like, I kept touching my face because I kind of forgot it was on. But so far, I'm pretty impressed with it. I think it looks really nice. I think it looked nice throughout the day. Like, I normally don't wear foundations for this long, and it's still nice and comfortable, so that's a good thing. So we'll see how it holds up tomorrow with primer and all that fun stuff. Alright, so I've worn this like 4 or 5 times now, so today I'm going to be showing you just my favorite way to wear this. So I've done my normal skincare routine. I'm nice and moisturized. And I'm just using my e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer to fill in my pores in my T-zone. And then what I do for just like a little bit of boosted hydration is I use a hydrating spray. So right now I'm using the Fourth Ray Beauty Mellow Milk Mist, and I spray this just concentrating it like on my cheeks and forehead where it gets a little dry. And I just give that a second because we're not applying foundation over literal wet skin. And this is one where I like the sheared out effect of it. Some people like fuller coverage, but I use my biggest sponge, which is my AOA Studio Wonder Teardrop Sponge. It's really big and soft because this gives me like the most sheared out finish, and it just makes everything very like natural and luminous. So I did one pump for this side of the face, and I'll do one pump for the other side of the face. I find that 2 pumps has worked pretty well for me. It's enough where you're still getting some coverage. Like obviously if I'm wearing foundation, I want there to be a difference between my actual skin and what my skin looks like with the foundation on. But you can still see like my freckles, and it just looks like skin. It's not cakey or anything like that. So 2 pumps with this sponge seems to be a good amount. If I was using like my Juno & Co. Velvet Sponge, I would use less because I wouldn't want it to be super full coverage. Or if I was using a brush, which I still haven't even tried with this foundation. I tend not to like brushes with like these serum-y textured foundations, so I just haven't even bothered, even though I've been back with all my brushes. And I do actually really like the look of this with just no concealer and just immediately setting my under eye. But for the sake of demoing it with concealer, I'll use my concealer. I find that the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer pairs super well with this because it's also a nice, like, very light medium coverage concealer, and it's also very luminous, so they just blend together absolutely seamlessly in my opinion. And I've been setting it with my Joa Selfie Ready Setting Powder. So this is my powder that's like closest to my actual skin tone. It's not super brightening. It's very finely milled, so it doesn't sit very heavy on the skin. So I only set the under eye like T-zone area. It's just kind of like that triangle under there where it's my concealer, and then like where my pores are like really big in the T-zone. And after the first day I wore this, I didn't have that issue of the powder clinging weirdly again, so that was just, I guess, a one-time thing. And then I really like layering just like some blush and bronzer over my cheeks, so I'm using my LA Girl Just Blushing Blush, which I had to repress because travel is not good for this blush. I just love how this like has just like a slight bit of luminance to it, but it's not a glowy blush. And I'm just gonna use the same brush and use my Pixie Glow Cake. I really love the bronzer in here. And I'm just gonna do my eyebrows and a teensy bit of eye makeup before I set this. So I set this all down with some setting spray. Right now I have the e.l.f. Mist and Set. And this is how we're looking today. So it's just a nice, like, very skin-like. You can still see some freckles and stuff, but obviously I'm looking a little more perfected than normal. My nose looks like really smooth. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a wear test like with this whole routine that I just did. That way you can see how it holds up. So I'll check in with y'all at the end of the day. Alrighty, it's now 8:18 p.m. so I've had this on for a little over 8 hours, and you can see what we're working with here. I'll turn down the brightness just a little bit. So like the first time I wore this, and like pretty much every time, it still settles into I find like my little nose creases, which pretty much every foundation does that on me. Like I don't think I own a single foundation that doesn't do that, especially if I'm not setting the nose. It's like a little bit settling into my pores in my nose area, but everything else holds up pretty well. I still have just like a slight bit of dryness on my cheeks. If I wasn't doing like a wear test, normally I will mist my face throughout the day, but this is just how it holds up without any like refreshing of any kind throughout the day. So I personally think it holds up really well. It still has that like slight soft focus effect on the nose, faded a little bit around the nose ring where I always play with my nose ring, but like it holds up pretty well in my opinion for a luminous foundation. And like I haven't blotted my face or anything. This is just with the more like mattifying pore filling primer that I used, so it doesn't really get super oily throughout the day. As for like the rest of the claims, I definitely agree that it's medium coverage, and I definitely feel like it's on the light end of medium coverage. Like it is definitely not a high medium, like almost full coverage. It's definitely like an almost light coverage, if that makes any type of sense. It's actually not quite as luminous as I was even expecting, but keep in mind I do have skin that's on the drier side and I've been traveling quite a bit, so it is a bit like dehydrated at the moment. And I do agree that it feels very weightless, looks very fresh, and doesn't look cakey or anything. I like this foundation. It's right up my alley for what I look for in a foundation. I like light to medium coverage, not super matte, still looks skin-like, and feels comfortable throughout the day. I normally don't wear foundation for super long periods at a time, but if I do, I want it to be comfortable the entire time. Like I don't think anyone wants their foundation to be uncomfortable. I don't think this foundation would be for everyone. I think if you're someone that does want full coverage, you're not gonna get it out of this. Obviously, if you have really oily skin, this is probably gonna look a lot more luminous on you than it does on me. And if you have really dry skin, it might get a little emphasized. Like you saw, my cheeks do get a little bit dry on the outside corner, but I feel like this is a really good one for combo skin because it didn't get too oily on my nose and it didn't get too dry on the outside. And I feel like playing around with primers and sprays and all of that, you can find like a really good combination that makes this foundation work for all skin types. If you just want something that's breathable feeling and just gives you like a little bit of extra something but still looks like skin throughout the day, I think this would be a good one for you. I can't yet say if I like this better or less than my CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir foundation, and obviously price is a factor in that as well. I am planning on doing a ranking my foundations video eventually, but I have 2 more new foundations that I want to pick up this month, so that won't be coming for a while because I want to make sure I try everything out for long enough to form an adequate opinion on everything. But that is all of my thoughts on this foundation. I hope that this was helpful and informative for you. If you have any other questions about this foundation or I didn't cover anything that you want to know my opinion on, I am more than happy to answer them for you. Just leave me a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you in my next video. Bye!